To get started, we're going to want to download and install Python on our computers. To do that, you could easily just navigate to this following link right here, Python downloads or downloads release Python 380, or we could just search for Python install, and it should be one of the first links. So it's going to be hosted by python.org. You could click on that right there, and we're going to download Python 3.8.2. There are some older versions that you'll see down here, but everything we're going to be doing is going to be the latest version at the time of recording this lab. So once you click on download Python 3.8.2, you'll see that the install runs pretty quick, or the download installs really quickly, and you could click on run, and this will go ahead and kick off the installer. So we'll go ahead and click on install now. You'll see customize since I've already installed it, but we'll overwrite the install I have. So you go ahead and click yes, and the installer will then run. It runs fairly quickly, so we will let it finish. And it is simple as that. The install was successful, fairly quick, and we can now close Python, and Python is now installed on your local Windows computer. So let's go ahead and test that really quickly by going to a command prompt. You could go to that typing cmd or searching in your Windows for command prompt. And that brings up this terminal window. And there's two ways to run Python. We're gonna try the commands py and the command. And if we just type in py, you'll see this message here appear showing that it's ready for Python commands. But a lot of computers like to use the word Python spelled out completely to run it. And if we run that, you may increase some errors. So it's gonna work fine on mine because I've done the following steps, but to get that to work correctly on your computer, if you're having errors, it's fairly straightforward. So what we need to do is we need to go ahead and map in our Windows environment variables the location of our Python file or Python installation. So again, for Windows, you can go to environment variables. So we're going to edit the system variables, and you're going to edit the environment variables. So one of the few things we need to do is we need to edit path so that Python is found here. So if you click on path and click on edit, I already have two entries, but essentially you're going to create two new entries. And the good way to find which ones you need to enter, if you click on start again and type Python, you'll see the installation of the Python tool that was installed here. This is the 3.7, but it should be fine for now. If you right click that and say open file location, it will open where that installer is. Now remember, this is just a shortcut, so you got to do this a second time. You know it's a shortcut because it's listed in the user directory. So right click your Python exe and do the same thing. We're going to go, open the file location, and now we're in the true folder of where our Python installation is. So let's jump back to Python here. Here's the 3.8 that I just installed, so we'll go ahead and do that, and we're going to want to map that into our environment variables. So let's create a new one, and there we go. Python 3.8 is there, and you also want to add the scripts folder, which is going to be 3.8/scripts, which once you hit OK, we could go back, and that's going to be this folder right here. Let's go ahead and just make that, edit that again, and make that a capital S to line up. And there you go, and just click OK. So not necessary if you were going to use the py command to install, verify that Python's on your machine and how the commands we're going to use, but if you want to use a full word Python, You would just have to map the environment variables. Click OK, and we are all set. So you could go ahead and create a new command prompt and type in the words Python, and you should get a very similar window here and no error to show that Python exists on your machine.